leaderboards for all of those categories. Phenomenal performances out of everybody there in the Swiss bracket, but now it's going to get even harder. All right, we're going to start talking about XROCK. XROCK is just absolutely untouchable right now. Our team that, like you guys just mentioned when we saw those stats, did not drop a single map all day yesterday, 3-0.
Oh, I mean, they look absolutely flawless. I think led by Nona, who has been sensational for that roster. I was lucky enough to chat to them in their interview, and they just exude confidence so much. Like, you know, when we ask some of the teams, you know, we're trying to jive to try and get a little bit of smack talk going here and forth. It wasn't happening for the most of them, but no, they were quite happy to say that we were talking about the East versus West, and they were like, we really do not care about the West at all. But now they're going to be coming into this game, not having to worry about the West, have to worry about the East still. But for me, to see their rise from being the team who didn't even make it here last year to now coming in as arguably the team that have looked the best out of everybody is a testament to the hard work that they have put in. They said teamwork is their biggest thing. It looked that way yesterday with a 6-0 map count. Yeah, it was a 6-0 map count, but not just that. The fact that every single map was indomitable. They faced a team from their own region, which in the past they've definitely had a fight against in Wolves Esports, and they decimated them. So it wasn't just a 2-0, it was something like a 250, 150, something like that, and like a 7-1. It was utterly ridiculous. So got to keep an eye out for them. Here's a look over towards Abiz yesterday. I believe this is a nice little storyline that we had coming into the event. I was so excited when I saw Godlike versus Tribe on the docket for the last match of the day. Abiz went absolutely off. This guy hit 51 kills in a game in which they, I think it was like 41-point club Tribe. Yeah. It was insane because we were watching the main broadcast back in the green room, but keeping an eye on everything that was going on. And then it came up through and we were looking through the highlights, and I think a couple of other players on Godlike had like 10 to 12 kills, and Abiz had 38. And it was just like out of nothing. Crazy stat lines from him, but he's going to have to bring a similar level to that today if they want a chance against XROCK. Absolutely, of course. We've got both XROCK and Godlike behind us right now, setting up for that first match here on the day. Fantastic way for us to kind of kick things off here. Godlike is not going to be an easy opponent for XROCK. No, they're not. I think Godlike, again, I think people still underestimate them. The way in which they played Tribe yesterday, I think it proves that they have stepped things up a notch from the 2023 championship. Look, CDSI was not the best event for them. They're even coming into this event with an extra challenge, considering Skullguy once again could not be here, but Neutrino has stepped in and shown that they are absolutely fine with that fill-in player. Day number 1 yesterday, I mean, it was a competitive day, right? They had to go the distance, they had to go to all 5 matches to get themselves into day number 2 of competition. But even the matches that they did end up losing, they were competitive in, right? They went all the way to game number 3. They took that fine range search and destroy off of Elevate. They took the Hacienda hardpoint off of Galaris. Godlike Esports, I mean, this is still a team that I think if they're able to fix just a couple of nooks in their gameplay, they will absolutely be fine. I don't think XROCK should be underestimating them here. No, they can't underestimate them, but they will know that a team like Godlike were at this stage last year. They were very much at this stage. They have got that experience on the highest level. XROCK are coming into it. Yes, okay, they have done this year, but they haven't had that experience on what is now the biggest of stages. They will have to come into this with a different kind of mindset. They cannot underestimate anybody, and they will not. Godlike are a team, if you do underestimate them, they will absolutely punish you. Let's see how things are going to go down, because as far as their stats go, it couldn't be that much different. XROCK had such a clean, easy day through it, but all the way through, Godlike had to fight. Yeah. But fight they did. Their hardpoint looks good. Yeah, and I would argue, to be fair, I think Godlike probably had the more difficult day yesterday. I think XROCK's most difficult opponent, of course, was Wolves in that 2-0 matchup. And again, I do kind of wonder, and Wolves fans are not going to be happy with me saying this, I wonder how good Wolves are at this tournament, because they didn't look that good against Galaris, even though they ended up winning, and certainly versus XROCK, they got dominated. So I don't know if XROCK kind of had the same caliber of competition yesterday. That's why Godlike's stats don't look so peachy.
All right, well, I think this is going to be great for the storylines here. Now, don't forget, everybody at home, it's the single elimination portion of our competition. So this is do or die for every single team that we're going to be seeing in our matches here up on the main stage today. Whoever wins will survive. Whoever loses does drop out of the competition. This is everything our teams have been playing for. They're going to be looking to raise this trophy above their heads at the end of it all. And you guys were talking about it a lot when we were kind of highlighting these 2 teams, but we heard it from almost every single player when we had interviews yesterday. The biggest thing is to not underestimate anybody in this competition. If you've made it this far, regardless of the region that you're from, anybody can always surprise you. So you have to go in treating each match as if you're going up against the best?
I think realistically, you know, when we've been in the studio and we've been there for the past 6 months looking through all of these teams, you see the top teams in the region and what they do to some of the other teams. And you're like, oh my God, these guys are insane. And now they're coming into this as like top 16 team. Like, you know, they're not realistically near the top. But these guys know what they are doing. The elevation in terms of competition when you get to this stage is very large, so you need to make sure you are locked in for every single game that you go into.
Yeah, let's start picking up this match set then. So this is actually a very interesting one because we did see these guys face off against one another at CDSI. That was a 3-0 to XROCK, and all three of those maps are in this map set: the Summit Hardpoint, the Tunisia Search and Destroy, and the Seaside Control. And the long and short of it is, not only was it 3-0, it was a dominant 3-0 for XROCK. So I'm intrigued to see those maps make it into this series. Not only that, though, I'm kind of feeling like GODL maybe messed up with the Search and Destroys here, because there's only really a couple of maps you wanted to avoid against XROCK. One of them is Fire Range, and the other one is Tunisia. I certainly wouldn't have let the latter of those two through, because it's like, XROCK Search and Destroy map pool is not that deep. Just veto one of those maps at least.
I think realistically, though, we were just speaking about it before on broadcast. Our theory is that they looked back at this game, said to themselves, right, okay, these are the games, the maps we played against them, this is where we went wrong, let's fix it, let's go back and do it again. So it's comfortability knowing that when you are playing them on this map, you know what to expect, maybe a little bit more than if you throw something different. So there's theory, there's method behind the madness, potentially, we'll see.
Yeah, and just very quickly here as well, I should say that Fire Range Search and Destroy isn't that much of a surprise to me because it's the map that they took off Elevate yesterday. So I kind of expected that was the one map was like, I think Fire Range Search and Destroy is going to be in the best of 5. And I was right.
All right, well, we've got just a few more minutes here before we get in. The game should be about ready. Give me your quick predictions before we get into this time. I'm going to start with you.
Well, I did say when we were talking about it backstage, I do think XROCK are going to come in here and absolutely smoke it. I think they'll beat the series. I think they haven't lost a map, and I think they will continue to do so today.
100% hit rate so far, by the way. I feel like this is going to be a 3-2. Honestly, I feel like GODL's way into the series has to be the hard points. They've had a phenomenal hard point game all weekend long. That is probably also XROCK's weak link going in towards this best of 5 as well. So that's what I think they're going to get, but it is going to be XROCK in 5.
All right, well, give me these other predictions as well, because I think we've got both Shift and Proper's thoughts on this matchup. I want to see if they agree with you guys or if there's a little bit of a disparity here. It'll be interesting to see what they have said. Either way, I also want to hear from everybody at home. If you're watching, if you're here in the audience with us, or if you're in chat, let us know your thoughts. We've got 3 1s out of both Shift and Proper, so different from what you guys said.
So different in the sense that they went first in the predictions. I didn't want to just copy them. Wow. So I was thinking 3-1 as well. So that's going to be my excuse towards that if possible. But we've all went XROCK, and I think that's the point. Look, everybody knows that this XROCK team are coming as one of the top teams in the game, and they looked at it all day yesterday. All
right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time for us to get into the first game of day 2 of our competition. Bracket stage is ready to go. Let's dive into it.
Summit Hardpoint to kick things off between these two teams. XROCK are one of those indomitable teams that everybody would have looked at this weekend and said these are going to be one of the teams to beat. They head into bracket play as the #1 team. It's going to be so difficult for GODL here, but have they got it within them, Brody? That's the question we're going to find out the answer to very shortly.
Yep, Summit Hardpoint, of course, this was a map in which GODL have played this multiple times against top teams, not just here, but at CDSI, and they have not been very successful of it. So it's an intriguing pick for the battleground against XROCK, but let's be honest, is there actually a good battleground that you could have against a monster team like XROCK? But never count out a roster like GODL. They're going to be going into this one looking for some early P1 control time. We always talk about the fact that early P1 control sometimes kind of catch teams off guard.
It can. You can see teams pick up 20 to 30 in this one, absolutely no problem. That's what GODL are trying to do, and the Trunks finding 2 just like that. It's going to help things along the line. Found the 3rd kill off cam as well. But for XROCK coming into this, they know what to expect. They had such a comfortable day yesterday, but some would argue that maybe too comfortable of a day hasn't set them up for a high level of competition.
Yeah, I think they're still going to be ready for that ultimately, right? They're not going to come in underestimating GODL here. They're not going to be underestimating, I think, anybody left alive in this competition. Everybody is playing at the highest level of Call of Duty Mobile here, and GODL, absolutely one of those names to still be concerned about. Off the start of this one, though, GODL looking better off the back of P1. I've got a feeling that XROCK might be able to grab this last few seconds of time unless those kills do start to come through from GODL. They're definitely trying for it too, and just looking for the last couple of kills here inside. Oh, but it is going to be XROCK that should be touching into what's new.
Yeah, having a look towards those final few kills that came through towards the end of P1. A lot of them going over towards those P3 spawns. A slight one's come in here through Neutrino. Now he's going to be looking to try and get some control of this as early as he possibly can for the side of GODL. As P2 is ongoing, XROCK picking up time. It's all about the battle for spawns, which GODL right now are winning.
Yeah, sure. GODL in control of those spawns, but they can't really afford to give this time away towards XROCK. So they're going to hit this over and over again. Flanking play coming through from Prevail here. What can they deliver while the rest of the team make their way through the front of this hardpoint? Prevail is actually going to pick on one gunfight here. Turns the attention of XROCK towards that backline. Is it good enough for GODL to get in through the front? No will find 3. So the answer is no.
There's 4. There's 5. Just does it all on his own. The equalizer's been popped quite early here from No. Happy to lock down some time here. I think they know they didn't have the spawns. They might have them now. It's a bit of a split for both these two teams. You can see there's one player coming in around the flank with P3 popping in 10. It's going to be there for XROCK. He's playing so patiently. It's going to be about these gunfights, but inside of the point, it's going to go the way of GODL. They'll pick up the scrap time. But there is an enemy behind lines right now in terms of where the spawns are for GODL. They think they've got it clean. XROCK have got somebody behind them.
Yep, Sueno needs to win this gunfight, and he does. He takes Neutrino down. That's going to up the urgency for Learn, who has already activated the Sparrow inside this hard point. He's already finding kills, spamming the Sparrow for a couple of kills. Is that good enough to get GODL in?
Flipped it. They managed to get the way through, so GODL are going to have to come through the front door. Something they were working on pretty much from the word go over towards P2. War Machine's out on either side of things, and they are pretty much having the battle down ice. It's actually going to be on the side of Rua. They'll manage to get a hold of that and still control here for XROCK. It shows even though that, you know, we're thinking about P2, you're thinking about it early doors when you want to get that P3 rotation. They did it with one player towards the back. You've got to give a lot of a shout out to Sunuo. Managing to find that kill, picks up that time, and he's a big reason as why XROCK are picking up so much time here at P3.
Yeah, we've always had that conversation, right, about kind of the investment here on P3, right? XROCK went into this with 5 operators ready to go. They've used 4 of the 5 available. Mars, the only one who has not utilized their operator, and it's delivered a basically full 60 hold off the back of that kill. So XROCK, comfortable lead here, going in towards the next hard point. GODL, though, they are the ones in control. QNM now with the Purifier. What damage can they do? Already 1 kill. More kills being made from the rest of the team. Now having to go to the R9, almost gets that gunfight. So keeping hopes and dreams of a GODL hold alive, but B's now picking up that gunfight, removing 2-1M from the point. That's the investment in the claw to make sure they get hold.
That's a bit of a tight setup though. They're very, very close. Big kills going to be found towards the backside, and plenty more following up with it for GODL here. Investing quite a bit, but after that decent time from XROCK in the previous hill, GODL have to answer back in some sort of way. And they're trying to find a way through. Gravity Vortex gun, nail everything else working in his favor. They managed to find a way through. 30 seconds still to play for here. GODL close spawns, but it was momentarily XROCK inside the point, and still is as they find the kills towards the front as well.
Yeah, now they flip the spawns out for the back 25 seconds as well. If you're a GODL, you can't really afford to not hit this time, so you will do so, but I don't think you're even really going to get close. XROCK are watching every single line of sight at the moment. One player attempting to slip by here. Learn, not going to happen. Not when XROCK are doing XROCK things here in map number 1. This lead is starting to get a little bit out of hand at the start of this game, Ton.
Yeah, looking over towards their previous matchup at CDSI. It was a 250 to 157 win for XROCK, and they are pretty much on for that kind of scoreline right now. That P3 rotation was really what was impressive, and the fact that, for me, when you go over towards P4, you limit the side of GODL to so little in comparison to what they could have had a hold of. It felt like the spawns were with them the majority of the time, but XROCK through the front door is what seems to be working out right now. Having a looking over towards the kills for both these two teams, it is No leading, and of course already bringing in the equalizers over towards P1. They know there is good time up for off here.
Yeah, XROCK now going to invest here as well. War Machine and equalizers into the play. We saw No was capable of these earlier on. How many more kills can he get? Couple easy pickings for No. There it is. XROCK getting all the kills around the hard point, but there are players inside to be aware of. Trunk's one of them. They will get taken out of the equation. B's still trying to be annoyance here as well. No on the hunt for that gunfight, and they will get it. XROCK, I mean, you're comfortable with not necessarily getting this time. You are making GODL feel so frustrated at the moment. You're being so annoying.
You're being competitive over towards P1, and you've got those spawn sides that you really want to keep a hold of over the next 2 minutes. Everything coming up XROCK right now, but GODL have managed to find a way through for the final few seconds. It is a minute amount of scrap time, but still getting themselves back onto the board is important. As far as operators go, 2 on either side of things to be used to try and get some good time here at P2. I think if you GODL, last time around you lost the spawn, you didn't get a great amount of time. You need to make sure you do 1 of 2 here as we head in towards P2.
GODL Godlike just need a full 60. They need something. They need Neutrino to get some kills here with the War Machine. They need the kills, and they're going to find a Neutrino for 3. Surely not number 4 Neutrino. Clearing house here on P3 or P2, and Godlike Esports now in control of this hard point, but they have to flip these spawns sooner rather than later, and you can start to see them getting favorable positions to do that.
But you could say that all those kills come through for Neutrino, but what if they actually managed to get a hold of? Well, they've actually now managed to flip the spawns. They pushed through with the pressure that they had and now are missing. Trunks hits his 20th of the game. Godlike getting some good time here. Over towards P2. P3 spawns are looking good as well.
This is the path back into this game. You are currently 60 points down. You get this scrap time. You go over towards New, and you get that full 60. Hold your operators for it as well. You've currently got 3 ready to go, but there's one player being a little nuisance in the middle of the map. Sunuo is trying to be sneaky like, how much damage can he do?
Same guy as last time. He managed to find a breakthrough, managed to get those spawns for the side of XROCK. Oh, Godlike going to fold under this pressure once more. Oh, can they hold on to it? Suono is going to make the move in from behind for the rest of their team. Well, they're already dead because the Sparrow is out. Nono can find one, but everybody else dies. Godlike, hold on.
Initial hold is good. There goes one operator from Godlike. They've still got one ready to go. Abee's now just going to pre-fire with the claw around the front. This is going to guarantee at least 10 to 15 seconds of time just by nature of how good this claw actually is. And nobody from XROCK can get close now. Next is going to be Prevail here with the equalizers. Godlike is doing incredible work at the moment. They wanted to come back in towards this game. Feels like time. That's exactly what they've done.
25 seconds to go on P3. They've controlled it the majority. Can they control it for the full 60? XROCK are not going to let that happen, surely. They're finding a couple of kills. They're trying to keep that pressure on. They really want to keep Godlike spawning towards his backside, and they are doing that now, but they can't find the kills as Prevail will walk on through. Say, thank you very much, I'll have 2 as the 3rd on the table. Absolutely it is. He finds it. That's the hold that Godlike needed to get them back into the game. 4 kills from Prevail. XROCK walk away licking their wounds.
Yeah, they've just had a player spawn out as well, so there's an opportunity here for Godlike to immediately break on towards New. They have the numbers to make this one work. GODL, though, will be taking a bees out on the redirect towards the hard point. Here they go. Godlike facing down Sunuo inside, who's going to invest the claw to ensure early control over this hard point is going to be XROCK. This is the right investment for me. They need to make sure they hold on towards these spawns, but Godlike, they're finding kills.
They're keeping hold of the spawns, but things are very chaotic over towards the front side. Trunks will find Twan M as well with the Purifier out. So that's going to give you a bit of control over towards Ice. Here comes the pressure now from Godlike.
XROCK winning all the gunfights though. Chu and M and Nono combined for at least 4. XROCK, they are wiping Godlike off the face of the earth. One player still trying to influence spawns here for a massive back 25 seconds. Chu and M just keeping an eye on this entrance. There's no way players can get through, so those players in the backline have to go now. The spawns have now been influenced. I don't think XROCK are quite ready for it, but does it really even matter? Trunks is inside with the Purifier. Can only find one. Godlike off the back of that might be able to get the last 10 seconds of time, but XROCK, they're being so annoying.
And this could actually be decent time for Godlike, because XROCK looked in complete control there for a certain amount of time. Godlike will just etch that down a little. We are going to be heading into the 3rd rotation. Godlike are closer than they were after the 1st. That big hold over towards P3 is the story of that rotation. XROCK did a good job over towards P4 though to re-establish a decent gap. But Godlike are well and truly into this game. XROCK yet to break 200. Godlike trying to do their best in and around P1. We've seen XROCK just frustrate them last time we were here. Can they do the same again?
Godlike have to be annoying here. They have to pick up all of the gunfights as much as humanly possible. Predator Missile not going to get invested for Roxy, so at the very least you're going to get that out before a potential rotation towards New, but the gunfight's going in favor of Godlike here. They sweep XROCK.
They managed to do it, pushing in over towards the ice side as well. They're trying to get some sort of control for that P3 flip, but when things start to get chaotic like this, when the game starts to get close, you stop thinking about those kind of moments where you need to be thinking ahead. You start to think about the here and now, and the here and now. Prevail did have the equalizers out, doesn't find a great deal from it. Twan M and Co just trying to fight their way over towards P2. It's broken 200 if you are XROCK, but Godlike, they've caught up, if anything, off that P1, which still has a few seconds to go. XROCK will find a little bit more value from that point, but it's all about the rotation now coming on through over towards P2. It is a 30-point game.
Massive kill just made by Neutrino as well. Does he get the second? No, he does not there. So big gunfight for Roxy. That's going to get the spawns for XROCK for the rotation towards P3, but there's still a wealth of time on P2 to fight for. Godlike will invest in for it. Abees with the claw. On the other side, Roxy's got the War Machine ready to go. What can Abees get done here? Pre-firing. Big 1v1, and Roxy's going to win it. So that's going to be the War Machine over the claw. XROCK now on the assault.
XROCK in a really good position now for this one, but they lose 3 gunfights. Godlike get themselves into control. We thought if there was a route for Godlike into this game, it was going to be Hardpoint. They are making a game of it here over towards Summit. XROCK in control, but a lot of investment coming in from both teams. Neutrino will find 3 with 1 bullet of the War Machine, but it's No with the Equalizer, who just about gets a solidity for XROCK. Godlike need to find a way through. They need to be thinking about spawns. Backs against the wall.
Yeah, split spawns came in there for XROCK, so that's how they're able to get through. No surprises Godlike. Now he's guiding them more. No, my God. XROCK now looking for the last 15 seconds of time. Godlike Esports now going to be looking for that rotation. XROCK can't get it done here.
XROCK can't get it done here. You are absolutely right, but Godlike got spawns off the back of those kills that came through. The splits do not work out in XROCK's favor. And what happened last time that we went to P3, Godlike found a nearly full 60. They're going to need to be as flawless again. XROCK only 7 points away.
Yeah, but they don't have the same kind of utility this time around, right? They just utilized their one operator they had. That's the Sparrow, and it's gone. So Godlike now have to get it done with the weaponry. Here comes the spawn flip.
Can they manage to try and find the way through? The spawn flip is going to be there. The kills are going to be there for XROCK as well. Godlike held on so well last time around at P3, but they fold under the pressure. 250 to 201. Godlike made it a game halfway through that, but XROCK's lead never wilted whatsoever. They get the job done. P3 rotations be damned. It's about #1 win. The #1 seed coming in. It's called Chaps.
Way into the series for Godlike. I'm not going to say it's closed just yet, but that was one door that has certainly been so. XROCK in that hard point look just indomitable. Certainly earlier doors, what was it, a 60-70 point advantage they built off the back of that first set, not only with a solid P3 rotation and hold, but with a crucial break on towards P4. And Godlike, I mean, they might well have woken up in the second set. They looked phenomenally better, but it just was not enough. Looking back towards it again, you can just see the way that XROCK play here in the respawns. Hardpoint certainly, I think, something they would have had to work on coming in towards Champs, coming into even towards CDSI. Feels like that's definitely paid off, just looking at the way they play around hardpoints.
I mean, No was just taking over when he needed to, right? I mean, even that P2 moment that we seen towards the end of the game there, for all I'm finding those 3 kills, and they actually did mean that the spawns were flipped after that split that came through. He seemed to be the guy that was finding the moments, but I really want to give it a huge shout out as well to Sanua, because 2 times in a row he was there behind them over towards P3. Didn't make it work the second time. The first time he pretty much flipped it all on his own. XROCK get a full 60 off the back of that. Those are the players that win you games, not necessarily the flashy ones.
Yeah, you know what's funny about XROCK is actually we were having a conversation, right, about, you know, what are the players to watch here? You know, for every single team, you know, who do we look out for? We want 1 or 2 players, and it's like, well, XROCK, you could literally just choose anybody. They're all just that damn good. Obviously, No is kind of the usual suspect per se, but Roxy also had a solid game there. Over 2 minutes inside the hill, by the way. Shout out Nate Shot. 45 kills to his name as well. Chuanam also provided